Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review on the Nike Dunk High Villanova. Before we get started, if you do like the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments section down below as well. Then I'll also be leaving a link to the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group in the description box, so I do hope you can join us over there because that is a place where we talk about sneakers and basketball quite a bit. And it's also where I have the SNBPH Steel Cabinet, where I put some shoes that I no longer use, or some shoes that I've reviewed in the past, and put them up for bidding at way below market value. Then if you haven't already, please do make sure to sub to the channel, because it really does help us out quite a lot. The Nike Dunk High Villanova is actually being called the Nike Dunk High Midnight Navy because, they don't want to pay the schools for using their names. But of course, they do use the exact same colors and color blocking, so this is just basically the Villanova, re-released in 2021. The Nike Dunk High Villanova is actually one of the 7 original colorways of the Nike Dunk High that released in the mid-80s. They were released as part of the Be True to Your School campaign, where Nike struck some deals with some colleges to make Nike be their official sponsor and to put their colors on the Nike Dunk. Of course, we do have in hand the Nike Dunk High Villanova with that white and nice dark navy. You have the Syracuse as well, which I reviewed in the past, which has that white and orange. You have the Iowa Nike Dunk with that black and yellow, the Michigan with blue and yellow, the Kentucky Dunk High with white and a much brighter royal blue, the UNLV Nike Dunks which are gray and red, and the St. John's which are white and red. Nike has actually retroed most of the Be True to Your School dunks within the past 2 years, with the only ones missing being the UNLV Nike Dunk Highs, as well as the St. John Nike Dunk Highs. You did have them retro as Nike Dunk Lows, but they're definitely not true to the OG, and I still would really want Nike to retro those in 2021 or 2022. In their OG high cut. Then like I said a while ago, the Nike Dunk High originally released in the mid-80s, and this was basically at the same time as the Jordan 1, so with the Jordan 1 being worn by MJ in the NBA, the Nike Dunk was kinda like the college equivalent. They do share a lot of similarities, and to the untrained eye they can actually look pretty much the same, but there are definitely some differences which makes the Nike Dunk kinda like unique from the Jordan 1. They're both definitely classics though, and they're both pretty hyped up right now, so if you were given the choice to collect Nike Dunks or to collect Jordan 1s, I would like to know what you would choose. I personally would prefer the Jordan 1 a little bit more because normally they release them with better materials, but it's definitely a super close call in my book. Then to get into more detail with the Villanova Dunk, let's take a look at the tech specs. So starting off with the traction, you do have that classic Nike Dunk outsole, which is pretty similar to the ones you also have on the Jordan 1. Not only does it look pretty similar, but it performs pretty much the same because both the Nike Dunk and the Jordan 1 have super duper grippy outsoles. This was also released in the mid-80s, so it's definitely one tough outsole and one that'll last you a really long time. The only difference is really with the outsole on the Jordan 1 and the Nike Dunk High is that the Nike Dunk High is a little bit smoother and it also has a narrower and slightly more curved shape. You still get that radial pattern though, that pivot point here at the ball of the foot, those chunky square sections here at the heel, and your stars here at the tip of the toe. The stars are a little bit more recessed here on the Nike Dunk High compared to the Jordan 1, but just like with the Jordan 1, if you are buying a used pair of Nike Dunk Highs, the stars on the toe are actually a good indicator of how much they've been used. Then for the cushion on the Nike Dunk High, you pretty much just have a full-length rubber cupsole. It definitely is super basic and it actually has less cushion than the Jordan 1 because at least with the Jordan 1 you had some air in the heel, but with this it's pretty much just bare bones, and if you're used to Adidas Superstars or Converse Chuck Taylors, these will definitely be comparable to those or maybe just slightly better. But for the most part, the comfort that you feel underfoot is basically just from the insole because there really isn't much cushion in this shoe. If you want a more comfortable or cushion feeling Nike Dunk, you can go for the Nike SBs because those actually have a little bit of zoom air. The cushion on the OG Nike Dunks is okay though if you're just walking around in it or if you're going to school or the office, but just don't try moving around too much in these, or don't even try playing basketball in these because I think that lack of cushion will definitely just kill your feet, your knees, and everything in between. Then for the materials, the Nike Dunk High has a full leather upper with a nylon tongue, nice flat laces, and a textile sock liner. The leather on the Nike Dunk High is pretty much just a synthetic leather with a nice smooth finish to it, and though it doesn't really compare to the quality of leather on most Jordan 1s, I think the leather on these do break in nicely. It also is pretty interesting that I think this Villanova Nike Dunk High has softer leather than the Syracuse ones, which we reviewed in the past. So I'm not sure if it's just inconsistencies between the colorways or maybe it's just inconsistencies with the pairs. But in my own personal experience, these are softer than the Syracuse ones. And I'll also definitely try to get a hold of the other Be True to Your School dunks so I can compare the quality and, you know, just collect them all. One additional bonus with the leather is that it's pretty even all throughout. I mean, the softness from here at the toe to here on the eye stay area to the overlays like the swoosh, they're all pretty much the same quality of leather, the same thickness, the same softness, the same finish. And I definitely do appreciate that because there are some Nike Dunks and some Jordan 1s that have different quality materials on the overlays and the underlay panels, and I just really enjoy how consistent the leather on this feels. Then for the nylon tongue, it is also nice and soft and flexible, but of course the more that you wear these around, they'll get even softer and feel better on your foot. Then for the laces, you do have your basic flat ones, and you actually only get one pair of laces, which are the navy blue ones, but I also am a bit curious on how these would look like if they had white laces in the box. Then for the textile sock liner, it is pretty comfy. It's not super padded, nor do I think it's too thin. I think it's pretty much right for a Nike Dunk High, and that would be a big indicator or a big difference between the Nike Dunk High and the Nike SB Dunk High, because the SB Dunk Highs, being that they're for skateboarding, not only have a little bit more cushion, they also have way more padding in the tongue and the sock liner as well. So overall, for the Nike Dunk High's materials, it isn't really anything to write home about, but even if that leather upper isn't super soft, it is adequate, and it will definitely get a lot softer the more that you break these in and wear them. Then for fit and sizing, I did go down half a size with the Nike Dunk High, and it fits me perfectly well. I do feel like Nike Dunks fit a bit big, so I go down half a size with all of them, and this fits pretty much the same as my Nike Dunk High Syracuse, as well as most other Nike Dunks that I've tried on. It's definitely a bit more snug if you go down half a size, and that's just how I like it. But if you're the type who wants quite a bit of space, then you can definitely go through the size. But for me personally, I like that pretty one-to-one fit, so I go down half a size in Nike Dunks. These do fit different in my opinion compared to the SBs, because with Nike Dunk SB Highs, I can actually go through the size or up half a size in those, because like I said, the SBs are way more padded than the regular Nike Dunk Highs. So for my recommendation on the sizing, if you do have a narrow foot or a normal width foot, I would recommend going down half a size. But if you are a wide footer or you have a normal width foot and just want a little bit more space, then you can definitely go through the size. Then for the aesthetic details on the shoe, as you can see, there really isn't much going on because it just has your classic Villanova colors. So for the outsole, you have that nice midnight navy all throughout, and you have that signature Nike Dunk pattern, and in the middle, you have Nike branding. Then moving on to the midsole, you can kind of see a little bit of that midnight navy coming up, but for that rubber cup sole, it is all white. You also have that stitch line with that white threading, and this really is what makes the Nike Dunk and the Jordan 1 so easy to keep for a long time, because they're not gonna crumble, and even though the glue starts wearing off, it's pretty much secure because it's stitched all around. Then moving on to the upper, all of the underlays are white, so you have white here on the ankle collar, here at the midfoot and the toe. Then you have navy blue here on the overlays at the forefoot, here at the heel, here on the eye stays, and the Nike swoosh on the medial and lateral side. You also have that midnight navy here on the laces, here at the sock liner, and also on the Nike branding here on the tongue tab. Then lastly, you do have a white nylon tongue, as well as orange Nike branding on the insole. Then moving on to the overall aesthetics, the Nike Dunk High Villanova is just such a classic shoe, and I just think that the Nike Dunk High looks so clean in simple colors, and also super classic with these colorways from 1986. These are also super easy to wear. I mean, it's just white and dark navy, so this kind of just goes with everything. So I have the Syracuse ones, which are white and orange, and those are a little bit harder to pull off. But you know, if you just need an everyday shoe that looks super clean and you can wear with pretty much all your outfits, then I think out of all the Be True to Your School dunks, this is definitely the most wearable. Then for the price, the Nike Dunk High retails for 5,895 pesos here in the Philippines, or $110 US. The Nike Dunk High is a lot cheaper than the Jordan 1, and given that they're pretty much just as iconic and just as classic, I think it's definitely a better value proposition to get yourself a pair of Nike Dunks, especially if you didn't hit on them for retail. That's exactly what happened to me actually, because there was a Nike Park raffle and I didn't hit on it. So I decided to go and look on the resale market, and fortunately for me, there were people on Facebook selling their pairs early, and I actually got these for just 1,000 pesos or $20 above retail. That isn't too bad given the hype of Nike Dunks as of now, and I'm just really happy that I'm more into these classic colorways, because these actually seem like the ones with less resale value. So once again, as I always say, if you don't hit on something for retail, just make sure that you really want the shoe. And second, just make sure that you exhaust every single place you can look for these. I mean, you can go on the Facebook Marketplace, you can look at Instagram, you can check out your local resale shops. I mean, just really be thorough and look for the closest you can get to the retail price. I'd also like to thank Sir Calvin because I got the shoes from him, and it was definitely such an easy process because I just saw his listing, I messaged him, I received it in less than an hour, are, and it was complete. Like, I had the shoes, the box, the receipt, so it was definitely a pretty painless thing, and I got them as close to retail as I could. These did release here in the Philippines on the last week of August, but if you are in the US, I think the final date for the release is September 3. However, a lot of these things do get pushed back, so just keep checking regularly because, you know, it might change from September 3. So there you have it, guys. That was my detailed review on the Nike Dunk High, Midnight Navy, or Villanova. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot. Here is Sneaks and Ball, PH.